Phones must be switched off before the meeting, and the meeting is being recorded and live streamed. Please be aware we have a 5-minute time limit on speeches in the chamber. You will hear a bell ring at 4 minutes and then another at 5 minutes. If you could please wrap up your speech in that last minute, that would be great. I will also remind speakers that councillors may ask you a question, however, you are under no obligation to answer, and speakers are not to ask any questions of councillors. I'll also remind speakers they have a 1-minute time limit in reply to questions from councillors if any are asked. And lastly, please stick to the topic of your item in the agenda so I don't have to bump you back on course. And with that, first up we have Jane Leman speaking from Mount Gibraltar Landcare and Bushcare is speaking for the recommendation in item 8.2.4, Mount Gibraltar Heritage Reserve Plan of Consolidation.
So my name's Jane Leman, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Mount Gibraltar Landcare and Bushcare Group, which has worked on the GIB for restoration for the last 33 years. We fully support this proposal, which should finally execute in full the council motion of the 16th of April 2008. 18 years ago, where 12 councillors moved unanimously at an extraordinary meeting in Bowral Memorial Hall that all separate titled allotments of land owned by council, which form the Mount Gibraltar Reserve, be consolidated into a single lot. This motion followed a year of intense objection to the council proposal to sell 2 large blocks of land from the reserve to help fund a leisure centre. Councillor Phil Yeo moved the motion with the aim of preventing any council extracting any of the hard-won pieces of land the previous councils had managed to acquire to add to that purchase by Joshua Stokes from Amos Quarry in 1919 to establish a flora and fauna reserve. I'm sure each of you comprehends the council responsibility and the importance of this natural reserve that now supports several endangered ecological communities and provides a stepping stone of sanctuary and passage across the Shire. One day, to have biodiversity corridor connections to other remnant patches of vegetation. So with the land, for years it was regarded as impossible to acquire these unmade crown roads. Then it was discovered that they were not crown, they were council, and could be closed at any time. The reserve also has heritage significance due to 100 years of quarrying of building stone, known as Bowral Trachyte, and the stone infrastructure built in the Spooner Unemployment Relief Program of the 1930s. Now, in addition to the quiet, passive recreation, this small, fragile reserve provides an important source of water for the Natai and the Wingecarribee rivers, for which this Shire has been commandeered for supply of metropolitan drinking water. Quality is an emerging and confronting issue. Before the Shoalhaven scheme was built in the early 70s and carp were introduced, our rivers ran clear and clean. Now they run foul. They are overcleared, muddy, polluted with PFAS, stormwater and sewage, scoured and almost lifeless. Any attempt to restore our waterways must start at the top if downstream quality is to be achieved. Mount Gibraltar is now relatively clean as a source. So Lot 1, DP 133145 was the Amos Quarry and was acquired for the reserve by Bowral Council in 1979, but was omitted from the first consolidation. Lot 4 DP 1307017 was zoned to be acquired in 2019, but was disputed and has now been compulsorily acquired. And as this lot includes the gents' toilet, I'm sure the community looks forward to the convenience of being reopened. As our group has completed the primary weeding on all of these lots, there will be little apparent difference on the ground. However, with the rapid human population expansion and damage, road kills, climate warming, shameful increasing rates of extinction, and knowing it is almost impossible to re-establish an ecosystem, it is obvious that any remaining adjacent intact habitat should be zoned for future acquisition to help, together with private efforts, protect and conserve the little we have left. In the long term, security of the land is fundamental to the providing of suitable habitat. Has the time finished? One sentence? Yeah. We thank you, especially Councillor Kent, who moved this along, for securing this land as one manageable lot, 129 DP 1263043. It's charming. And for continuing the environment levy to provide the ongoing bush care for maintenance of the restoration work achieved in the Shire. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Stay there.
No, that's it. Thank you. All done.
No question?
Next, we have Andrew Moritz from Transport Heritage New South Wales is speaking for the recommendation in item 8.3.1, Transport Heritage New South Wales Loop Line. Fire away.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to you today about the Loop Line Upgrade Project. As I was introduced, I'm Andrew Moritz. I'm the CEO of Transport Heritage New South Wales. We're an independent, not-for-profit company that has been established to operate the state's rail heritage, and we're very proud operators of the New South Wales Rail Museum at Thelmere, the Loop Line, and then heritage trains throughout the state on the government network. Today we welcome nearly 100,000 or over 100,000 passengers on our trains and over 80,000 people at the New South Wales Rail Museum. This project is enormously exciting for us in terms of returning the steam train operations through to Colovale. So on the first slide in the pack is just what we're talking about. So today we operate trains between Thelmere and Buxton and in the other direction towards Picton. But this project will reopen the line between Buxton and Colovale, some 18 kilometres of track through some spectacular countryside, including Big Hill Cutting. And we're delighted that we've been able to work with Council on a number of projects that support the introduction or reintroduction of operations and trains on the Loop Line, including the two parklands, one at Colovale and one at Hilltop, and very excited about the opportunity for the viewing deck at Big Hill Cutting. This was once the deepest cutting on the New South Wales Government Railway Network, all dug by hand, and is a spectacular sight from the photos. I've not seen a train go through there, but when we do, it will be very spectacular, and I think a major attraction for the area for people to watch and support. We've been busy over the last few years in undertaking various aspects of this project. We've renewed 18,000 sleepers, 80,000 track fastenings, and the list goes on really of the work that has been required to reinstate this track as fit for purpose for train operations. There's some current work going on at the moment, or recently completed work includes the fencing and the geotechnical works. There's a lot of big rock cuttings, and we need to make sure that those rocks are stabilised and don't fall down on passing trains, as it were. Equally, we've been working very closely with Council on the reintroduction of a number of level crossings on the Loop Line. There are 5 level crossings on this section, part of the track, that are being reactivated as part of the railway line. Level crossings do pose a major risk for both train users or train operations and road users, and we have in place with your team, your asset team, safety interface agreements as required by Rail Safety National Law for those level crossings. The last remaining works are now underway, which includes some more fencing, some hazardous tree removal. If anyone has been through Collowvale, there is work underway at the moment on refurbishing the station and making the amenity there suitable for passengers. And then we will enter a period of operational readiness where we'll be training our crews and testing the various systems to make sure we can satisfy the Office of the National Rail Safety Regulator that this thing is actually safe to operate and continue to do so. In terms of the exciting bit about what does this actually mean for the tourism and visitor economy of the region, we'll be introducing a number of new services as part of the experience on travelling on the Loop Line. The core of our experience will continue to be the 45-minute return trip from the museum to Buxton, but the opening of the Loop Line to Collowvale offers us the opportunity to extend and have a 3-hour experience. We anticipate that will be a very different experience and attract a very different market to the museum and to the region, and potentially from this end of the site coming back up for people holidaying in this part of the world. We'll be announcing, I guess, the range of programs and activities that will be introduced when we announce the opening date of the Loop Line, which at the moment is not quite fixed. We are subject, as I said, to approval from the Office of the National Rail Safety Regulator, and that is out of our control in terms of ensuring that happens. So I very much look forward to welcoming you all to travel on one of our trains, if not the opening trains, at later this year. Thank you.
Terrific. Sounds amazing. Thank you. Do we have any questions? Okay. Oh, Councillor Kent.
Thanks very much for coming along on the presentation. I notice on the first slide there's the dotted line between Collowvale and Braemar. What are the chances of bringing that into the scheme?
So at this stage, that part of the line, it's about 9 kilometres of line, is probably the most expensive part of the line to reinstate. There is a bridge that has been removed from that space. We have taken a look at that project, but at this stage it's unfunded. It's probably in excess of 22 million in terms of what we spent on the rest of the line. So we're going to get this bit open and successful first, and then we'll have another look at that section of track.
Terrific. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. We will start the meeting at 3:30.